Now we move on to section 2 of the program, Plyometrics. The first exercise is a side hop over a flat 2-inch cone or a chalk line on the field. Slightly bend your knees and jump to the opposite side with a soft landing. Remember, a soft landing is when you land on the balls of your feet with bent knee and hip. This is really important. Look at player number 1. She's doing the exercise perfectly. Her feet and knees stay hip distance apart, her landing is soft, on her toes with bent knees and hips. Also, her knees never translate over her toes. Player number 2 is demonstrating poor technique. He lands on a flat foot with a rigid landing, and his knees are caving in. This puts undue stress on the knee joint, namely the ACL. Repeat this exercise for 30 seconds with good form. The next exercise is pretty similar to the first. Instead of hopping side to side, we'll hop forward and backward over a flat 2-inch cone or a visible line on the field. Stand facing the cone with your feet and knees close together. Bend your knees and hips slightly and hop over the cone. This athlete is demonstrating poor technique. She lands flat-footed and circumducts her feet when she jumps backwards. As she begins her jump, her knees cave inward as she loads her jump. This is dangerous to the knee joint. Notice the first athlete. He has good control of his motion, landing softly with his feet and knees hip distance apart. Repeat the exercise for 30 seconds with a soft landing. The next exercise is an advanced version of the last exercise. Instead of jumping with 2 feet, we're moving to a single leg hop. Only progress to this exercise when you can complete the double leg hops without any difficulty. Hop over a flat 2-inch cone or line on the field, landing on the ball of your feet, bending at the hip and knee. Keep your ankle, knee, and hip in a straight line. Now hop backwards over the cone using the same landing technique. Notice the athletes show good control. Their ankles, knees, and hips are in a straight line. Their landings are soft. You want to be very careful not to snap your knee back into a straightened position. Do not hyperextend. Always keep a slight bend in the hip and knee and land softly. Repeat for 30 seconds. Now stand on the left leg and repeat the exercise again. The same progression exists for the side-to-side lateral hops. Start with a slight bend to the standing leg, bend the opposite leg, approximately 90 degrees, hop to the opposite side of the cone or line and land on the same foot with a bent hip and knee and utilize a soft landing technique. Be sure that your knee does not cave inward as you land on that side. Use your outside hip and buttock muscles to stabilize your landing leg. Jump to the other side. Repeat for 30 seconds and then switch legs. For diagonal hops, use a series of cones or align yourself adjacent to existing lines on the field. Jump in a diagonal pattern using proper landing technique. Land softly on the ball of your foot, bend your hips and knees to engage your hamstrings, and do not allow your knees to cave inward or translate over your toe. Repeat for 60 seconds. Notice the second athlete. She lands with a flat foot and her knees drop inward as she prepares to jump and as she lands. She's not using her outer hip and buttock muscles to adequately stabilize her knee. If you are struggling with this, concentrate on keeping your knees over the 4th and 5th toes. Use your outer thigh and hip to keep the knee from falling inward. If you can adequately perform this exercise with proper technique, you can attempt to do it on one leg. This is an advanced exercise, so only progress to this level when you are certain that you can stabilize your knee. Now let's work on jumping vertically. This exercise will help increase the height of your vertical jump and increase the awareness of your ankle, hip, and knee in space. Stand with your arms by your side, bend your hips and knees slightly and explode upward. Land softly on the ball of your foot with knees and hips bent deeply. Pause for a moment at the bottom of the jump to feel the deep knee and hip angle upon landing. Take off for your next jump. Be certain that your knees do not cave inward. Keep a good distance between your knees to ensure that you're using your outside hip muscles. Look at athlete number 2. Notice that her knees cave inward excessively. As we have discussed earlier, this is a dangerous position for the knee and the ACL specifically. Notice her knees translate over her toes. Her knee and hip angle is too shallow. She needs to sit back in her squat to effectively use the buttocks. When you use your hips and buttocks, you can shift your weight back, and your toes should be revealed to you. Take a look at our athlete. She keeps her hips and knees apart. Repeat for 30 seconds. Scissor jumps are a great exercise. They increase power, strength, and stability. Stand forward with your hands at your side. Jump forward, leading with your right leg. Keep your hip, knee, and ankle in a straight line. Make sure when you jump, your knee stays over your ankle at a 90-degree angle and does not drop inward. Now push off with your right foot and propel your left leg forward as you bring your right knee backwards. Land softly with a bent knee and hip. Look at your body's position. Make sure your technique is correct. This athlete exhibits incorrect form. Her back knee does not flex toward the ground and her lead knee caves inward excessively. This is incorrect technique. Repeat the exercise correctly for 30 seconds.